multiplication, 1/2 times 4/3, we would get 4/6. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections out of 6. Okay, now again, we're actually doing 6 here. All right, there's 6 sections in one whole, but only 4 of them out of the 4/3 is shaded in. Now, as you can see, there's also these 2 and 2. We can think about 4s. Can we divide these into groups of 4? Let's see, we have a group of 4 here, a group of 4 here, and a group of 4 here. So yes, we can divide these into groups of 4. So we can divide this into groups of 4. And divide this into groups of 4 and groups of 4. Wait a second, Mr. Valdemar. You didn't show us something like this. You're right, I didn't. And this is actually incorrect. This would say that we had 1/3. So what exactly is happening? Well, what we actually have to do is we have to look at these numbers and just look at them across. If we look across or do the Saul way, we can switch the numbers, and then we have 2 times 1/3, and that gives us 2/3. So that's one way of thinking about it. Okay? So we can divide these into groups of 2. Okay? Now, why 2? Well, what's really happening is we have to look at it, excuse me, out of the 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, you know what? This is crazy. What's happening here? We don't have 3. So how did this happen? This is a tricky one. So this is actually not the greatest example. All right, so for those of you that are paying attention, this is a difficult one. I would say the best way to look at it is this way. Okay? So we have half of 4/3, which equals 4/6. We can divide both of them by 2. Okay? And that will give us 2/3. I see. What happens is, here we go. Here's the thing. We're basically going to take this double hatch and put it here. Okay? And if we do that, then we can group it this way, and this way. And then we see that we have 2 sections. We have 1 section, 2 sections that are shaded in. So basically, we're moving this one over here. And that's how we get our 2/3. Oh, it took me a while, but we got there. All right, that's why we really have to think. All right, let's go to an easier one. Well, what I think is easier. All right, so let's go ahead and go to this. And we see, again, we're going to go into right here. This tells us how much we're cutting it into. We're going to cut it into fifths. All right, and this tells us how many we're going to shade in. So we're going to shade in 3 of them. We don't have to shade them all the way in. We kind of want to see the cross-hatching. And then we see that the 3 tells us we're going to cut them into thirds. Okay, so we're going to cut them into thirds this way. We're still only looking at this part right here, and technically we're cutting it into thirds, but you need to see the whole to figure out how many are going to be cross-hatched out of the whole. So now we're going to shade in 1/3 of these. So this is equal to 1/3. Let me label this so that you can see it a little better. And this is our 3/5. Okay, so that's the 1/3. Okay, we know that we need to shade in 1 out of those because it has it right here. All right, now we look at the whole thing and we see that we have 1, 2, 3 shaded in out of 15. I already know that because there's 5 in each group. Okay, so we have 315. If we look at our word problem, we will have 1/3 of 3/5, and we should know that that's 1/5. So how do we know 1/5? Well, this one is fairly easy. We can go ahead and move our numbers over here, our fractions over here. And show you going across. If we went across, we would have the 3/15, which is what we were looking at already. We have 15 of those boxes in total, and we have 3 of those that are double hatched. Okay, but as I said before, our answer is 1/5. Okay, the clue is right there. We need to have a 1 on the top. Okay, and how do we do that? We divide it by 3. So we're going to divide these by 3. Also, you can see there's one group here. I'm going to go ahead and change the color here so you can see it a little bit better. No, that didn't help. Let's see, we'll go with some pink. We'll go ahead and circle these now with yellow. And you'll see right here we have only 3, so we have the biggest group we can do is actually 3. So I can do 3 there, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. I did that 5 times, 5 groups. And one of the groups, this group, okay, has the cross hatching, has both shadings in. So therefore 1/5 is our answer, which matches this. Okay? How do you know what to divide by? It's a good question. Well, when you look at the cross-hatching, the double cross-hatching right here, you can only see 3. So we can only divide this by 1 or by 3. If we did it by 3, okay, if we divided this section by 1 or by 1, we would have 3/15. It wouldn't help us anything. So we need to make sure we're dividing by something. The biggest one was 3, so let's do 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Now remember that they have to be the same when you group them. So these 3 are all double hatched. These 3 are empty, and these 3 are empty. These 3 are only half shaded, and these 3 are half shaded. Okay? if we tried 6, we could not do it. We would do, yes, this is half shaded, and this is half shaded. There's 6 there, but there's only 3 left over, so we cannot go up that high. The largest we can go is 3. All right, so let's look at this one. We have 1/3, 4/5 of 1/3. It's a little different because we have the unit fraction on the right side, but it's nothing too complicated. This one, I'm already guessing, is going to not have any simplification of any kind. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this into thirds. I'm going to go ahead and shade in 1/3. Again, right here, thirds, one of them I'm shading in. Now, I'm going to do fifths. Okay, because it says fifths right here. And out of those 5, I'm going to shade in 4. Double hatch 4 of them. So now I have a total of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And out of those 15, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded in. Now 4/15, I can't group them. If I try grouping them in 4, I would group this, I would group this, and I would group this, but I would only have 3 left over. So I could not group this into a group of 4. Let's try 2. I can group this, 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 over here, over here, over here, and this one, but then I have this one left over. All right, so there's no simplifying here. This is the largest units we can use is 15 to do this. All right, so that's just a straight across multiplication because 5 times 3 and 4 times 1 is on the top. All right, hopefully that's helpful. I'll take a quick peek at the question that is number 3. At Lorita's Bakery, 3/5 of the baked goods are pies and the rest are cakes. 1/3 of the pies are coconut, 1/6 of the cakes are angel food. Whoa, maybe I should have did that one as a bonus. All right. What fraction of all the baked goods at Lolita's Bakery are coconut pie? 1/3 of the pies are coconut. Okay, so that's a straightforward 3/5 and 1/3. What fractions of all the baked goods at Lolita's Bakery are angel food cake? 1/6 of the cakes are angel food. Okay, and the rest are cakes. So that one you have to pay attention to the rest. So it's the 2/5, the leftovers from the pies, the 2/5. Those of you that were paying attention in class, you'll understand what I'm saying. From our example of the balls and recess time. Hopefully that's all helpful. And you have a good afternoon, evening. Remember, I'll try to do this every day, but if I don't, please look at my website for at least the static, the regular